For my birthday, my folks gave me a gift box. My spouse looked at it and said, "Do not open it." I inquired, "Why, cannot you see it?" I took a closer look and froze. I did not open it. I did something different instead. 30 minutes later, police arrived at the door. I'm not a huge birthday celebrant. I do not throw parties. I don't publish dramatic selfies at 34 and thriving. Honestly, I forget it's my birthday until my husband buys me a chocolate bar and cracks a stupid remark about being married to a mature lady. That's enough celebration for me. So when my phone rang the day before my birthday and my mother was on the line sounding like someone had shot syrup directly into her carotid artery, I knew something was wrong. "Oh, sweetheart, we sent you a small surprise. It should arrive on time, as if my parents had always been on time for anything other than my sister." So I played along. I said, "Okay, thanks." She laughed, giggled. My mom doesn't laugh. "It's nothing major," she explained, simply a gesture of our affection. That was the moment I should have known, not because of what she said, but because she said love without immediately reminding me that I'm overly sensitive. But you want to believe even after 34 years of crumbs and training yourself to expect nothing. A stupid part of me thought, maybe it's real. Perhaps they are trying. They were not. Anyway, it is my birthday. My husband, Mark, serves me pancakes and allows me to drink coffee in bed while he takes a work call in the other room. It's serene and comfy. And then the doorbell rings. A medium-sized cardboard box sits on the mat. No ribbon, no gift tag, and no sparkling happy birthday Rizzo balloon. Just a basic brown box with a printed label taped as if it had been packed by a robot. Mark picks it up, moves it into the kitchen, and sets it down. Then he stares at it as if it could grow legs and run. I say it's from my parents. He says nothing. Mom called yesterday and said she was sending me a gift. Still nothing. Then do not open it. I laugh. Why do you think it is cursed? Mark does not laugh. He nods to the label. So I examine closely, and there is no handwriting anywhere, not on the label, not inside the seams, just a printed mailing tag with my name and address. The return address is a P.O. box, not their street, not even their city. I begin to feel a little chilled. Mark approaches and taps the edge of the box with one finger. "There," he says. "Do you see it?" I lean in, my heart races, then it stumbled. Everything within me remains still. Not fear exactly, not yet. Simply fear with a familiar face. I do not say anything, neither does Mark. He simply steps back totally and silently. And then my phone rang again. It's my mom. Mark looks at the screen. I stare at him. I swipe to respond and select speaker. "Sweetie, has it arrived?" I pause. Mark does not move. My thumb hovers above the end call button, but I do not touch it. "Yes," I say. "It came." "Have you opened it?" I look at the packaging. "Yes," I lie. "I opened it. It's beautiful." "Thank you." "Oh, sweetie, we just wanted to remind you how much we adore you. You are a girl. Never forget that." My stomach drops. Because my mother has never stated that. Not when I graduated, not when I was married. Not when I sobbed on her couch after a miscarriage 2 years ago. Mark glances at me. I shook my head slightly. She says, all sing-songy. "We just felt you deserved something pleasant. You're incredibly strong." "You've always been." Then she hangs up. I do not say anything for a time. Neither does Mark. The box sits between us like if it is watching. I finally admit that I disliked how lovely she was. "I understand," Mark says. "She only calls me sweetheart when she intends to lie." I understand. They never send gifts, not even during Christmas. Remember when they gave my sister a Peloton and me a scented candle at the petrol station? Mark chuckles. I believe the candle was used. I believe it was expired. We stand there for a while longer. I want to chuck the box out the window and burn it on fire, which is somewhat contradictory, but so is my family. Eventually, I sit down. Mark makes tea. The box remains on the countertop. We do not open it. We don't touch it again. It simply sits there taking up room, saying nothing, saying everything. 30 minutes later, there is a knock on the door. It is not a neighbor. It is not Amazon. It is a uniform. "Are you Anna?" I nod. "We received a report of a package delivered to this address. Would you mind if we came in and asked some questions?" And that's all I'll say for now, because the box is still present. So is everything that came with it. To understand how we got here, you must first comprehend my life. At the very least, you need to understand Chloe. Chloe is my younger sister. I'm 3 years younger, but approximately 1,000 pounds lighter emotionally. If I'm on duty, she's a delight. If I'm the one who remembers everyone's birthdays, Chloe simply cannot handle the pressure right now. She was the golden child, not in a flashy, overachieving sense. Let's not make her upset. She cried readily. That was her strength. I did not. That was my error. The first time I accepted responsibility for something I did not do, I was about 8 years old. We had a horrible vase in the hallway. The earthenware is dark green, probably worth $12, yet treated as the family's greatest jewel. One day it broke. A loud collision, a big mess. Chloe stood over it, bottom lip trembling like a cartoon. I recall stepping into the hallway and knowing exactly what was going to happen, like a reflex. When Mom arrived and started yelling, Chloe pointed at me. Anna did it, just like that. There's no warm-up, no eye contact, just betrayal. Clean and chilly. I had not touched the silly thing. I had not even walked by it. But I didn't say anything. Because I am older. Because she was crying. Because I knew how the film ended. Mom looked at me as if I were a disappointing puzzle that she couldn't put back in its box. Well, you're the older sister. You should have been watching her. I was sent to my room. Chloe grabbed a popsicle. And that was all. Another time, when I was about 12, Chloe borrowed my favorite sweater, wore it to school, painted it during a creative period in art class, and then chastised me for not informing her it was special. Mom only nodded as if that made sense. Anna, why didn't you cover it better? You know she's still learning about boundaries. That sweater was a gift from my grandmother. Chloe never apologized. She claimed I overreacted, then she cried, then she had ice cream. And I learnt again that the truth does not provide comfort. Tears do. By the time we were grown-ups, we were no longer sisters, but rather two persons who grew up together and attempted to keep the peace while our parents were present. Chloe did not go to college. She completed a yoga certification marketed essential oils for 3 months and created a spiritual art Instagram account that consisted primarily of reposted Etsy screenshots and photographs of herself holding coffee mugs on beaches. Somehow, nothing ever failed. It just evolved. That is what my folks said. She is finding her path. She has such a creative soul. Not everyone fits the mold, Anna. This is hilarious, since I never wanted Chloe to match the stereotype. I simply wanted her to repay the $600 she borrowed to begin her failing bath bomb line. But I did not say that. I merely watched from a safe emotional distance as she failed upwards, my folks cheering in the background. About a year ago, I received a call from Mom. She offered to take me to lunch. Is it just me? I asked. She stated it as a treat, as if I should be grateful. We met at this farm-to-table restaurant she always feigned to enjoy but secretly labeled pricey. Chloe had already arrived, sipping a kale smoothie, and looked like a bargain lifestyle blogger. They were quite friendly. We requested small chat. Then Chloe smacked me with it. So I was wondering whether it would be okay to use your name and address for something. Just for a business account for this small art project I'm working on. It's not sketchy. It's just easier because I'm in between leases and you're so reliable. That word is stable. It consistently meant the same thing. It was boring, predictable, and easy to blame. Mom jumped in. We simply thought it made sense. You are good with paperwork. And it's only temporary. I did not become angry. I didn't even hesitate for long. I simply said no. Calm, quiet, and absolute. Chloe blinked. She grinned too fast. Hey, that's fine. Lunch ended prematurely. After that, the freeze-out began. Not dramatic, just a gradual colder, drier weather. The Christmas invitation got missing. My father issued a passive-aggressive email about not supporting family projects. Chloe unfollowed me on Instagram. I hadn't noticed till a friend pointed it out. I told myself I didn't care, but I actually did. I believe a part of me hoped they'd reconsider, that they'd respect the boundary, and that saying no wouldn't turn me into the villain. Instead, they simply moved on without me, which was perfectly great. Quiet is preferable to pandemonium, and I've established a relatively calm life with a quiet house, a lovely husband, no shouting or sobbing on order, and no vases shattered in the hallway. But when the box arrived on my porch on my birthday, something inside me knew. This did not happen at random. They were not being kind. They were being careful. Mark tapped the edge of the box. There. Do you see it? I leaned in. My heart tripped. Then it tripped. It wasn't only the label. It was everything. The font, the plastic wrap, the barcode alignment details that you only notice when you've seen them up close. And I did. A year ago, Mark and I stopped by Chloe's apartment to return some dishes. She was knee-deep in packing peanuts and calling them inventory. Her hallway resembled a warehouse. Boxes are everywhere. They felt the same way, same logo, same gloss, same odor, like varnish and melting glue. She chuckled as I picked one up and urged me to set it down. The supplier is tight, she claimed. They monitor who opens what. She called them strict, not careful. It's not pricey. Strict. And now the same provider has sent me a box, directly. With my name on it, not repackaged, not recycled. A new label. There is a new seal. There is a new box. From them to me. Mark said nothing else. He did not have to. This was not a gift sent in an old box. It was a shipment, a deliberate one. Chloe is the kind of person who never lets anyone touch her. And somehow it ended up on my kitchen counter. I remained silent because there was nothing I could say that didn't taste like betrayal. When I saw the box, I knew. Then came the call. My mother, sweet and soft, inquired whether I had received our small gift. I told her yes. I told her I had opened it. I told her it was lovely. I had not. Mark stood beside me in the kitchen, arms folded. I took out my phone-tapped record and laid it on the counter near me. Not out of instinct, not because of paranoia, because I had already seen the packaging. Because I knew what it was. They were not sending me a gift. They were sending me an issue with my name already printed on it. The knock came less than a half-hour later. I opened the door to a uniformed cop, polite and expressionless like I had done before. "Are you Anna?" I nodded. "We received a complaint about a suspicious shipment sent to this address. Would you mind if we came in and had a look?" Mark came into view behind me. I opened the door wider. "Sure," I replied. The box remained on the counter unopened. The edges are all taped the same. The same weight I hadn't been able to move since it came. I motioned toward it. "That's the one," I explained. The cop approached and inspected it over as if it may move. His companion stood just behind him, searching the kitchen as if there was a warehouse under the table. "It was addressed to you?" he inquired. "Yes, a birthday present from my folks. Did you open it?" "No." He nodded once. "Do you mind if we open it? Go ahead." They were methodical. Gloves, box cutters, everything according to protocol. The flap peeled back, making a dry sound. Inside, there's bubble wrap and decorative pieces, the kind of vacuous items that people buy for in order to appear sophisticated. A few small figurines, a certificate of authenticity, and a mailing slip bearing my name, of course. One cop scanned the QR code at the bottom of a piece. He cast a peek at his partner. They shared a look that I couldn't quite understand. "Do you know what they are?" the first person asked. "They kind of look like art," I said. "Do you know where they're from?" I shake my head. "As I already stated, my folks sent it to me as a gift. Do you have proof of that?" I grabbed my phone and played the recording. My mother's voice broke through, brilliant but hollow. "Did you receive our tiny gift? We just wanted to express how much we love you. You are our girl." I stopped there. That was enough. The cop nodded. "We'll take this with us. You are not being charged at this time, however, this shipment matches materials under investigation." I gave a stiff smile. "Not an issue." They packaged it up like it was a biohazard, thanked me once again, and walked out the front door, Mark trailing after them. I sat at the kitchen table. My coffee was still warm. That seemed disrespectful, as if the universe was implying that everything was normal. 3 hours later, the phone rang again. I did not check the number. "Did not need to," I responded. My mother's voice was no longer gentle. "How could you?" I did not respond. "You informed the cops that it was Chloe's. I told them who had sent the package." "I said you did. You understand what this means for her." "Yes, I do." "You could have kept your mouth closed. You may have claimed it was an error. You phoned me. You double-checked that it had arrived before informing them. We did not have an option. You always have an option. If they found it at your house, it would have ended peacefully and contained. Nobody else gets hurt. So you delivered stolen things to my residence under my name, hoping I'd be foolish enough to open them." Silence. Then my father's voice came in low and measured. "We assumed they would seize the stuff and move on. We didn't expect they'd go back this far. But you expected them to trace it back to me." "Anna, you are stronger." You've always been strong. He used my name. You used my house. Chloe isn't built for this, so I am. You don't have children. You'd bounce back. There. That was the reason. This was always the cause. My mother remarked, "You've always been the cold one. And now look what you've accomplished." I didn't respond. I ended the call. Mark returned to the room, a cup of tea in each hand. He set one in front of me and did not say anything. I looked at the counter. The space left by the box seemed like a scar. "They really thought I'd open it," I explained. Mark sat across from me. "They truly did," he explained. "That's all there was to say." A week after the police had taken the box, the detective called me again. I was midway through a bowl of cereal. Mark had just left for work. The sun was doing that pleasant warm window thing. You know when everything seems to be going well again. Then my phone lit up. Unknown number. "Of course. Anna, do you have a few minutes for what? Why not burn it down before breakfast? We need to confirm something. Your name appears on several documents pertaining to the firm your sister ran. Have you ever established a business under your name? No. Have you ever listed yourself as a co-owner or manager for a company involved in art sales resale platforms or foreign supply chains?" I truly laughed. "I once attempted to sell a bookshelf on Facebook Marketplace. That concludes my entrepreneurial endeavors." He did not laugh, not even a pity laugh. "A digital signature with your name and a business email address is connected to a suspended account. Let me guess, Anna Weller 73 at sketchyartmail.com. It ends with dot designs." Of course it does. "Would you mind viewing the digital signature?" He sent it over. It took only about 3 seconds to confirm what I already knew. It was not mine. I mean, that was my name. Sure, simply not in my handwriting. Someone tried to duplicate it after looking at the back of a birthday card once. "Is this your signature?" No. "Do you recognize the email?" No. "Could your sister or parents have accessed any of your old documents?" I paused. "Yes. Years ago. Tax-related issues, identification copies, I used to trust them." That was the last time I pronounced the statement aloud. Past tense and all. He guided me through what they had discovered. Or tried to. Anyway, my brain converted part of it to static. A business license has been filed in my name. My former address is shown as the official return center. The digital trail leads back to Chloe's devices. Supplier contracts, payment connections, and a full-fledged bogus email account claiming to be mine. "You've been identified as a silent partner for over a year," he explained. I wanted to say something sharp, something clever, but all I could say was of course I did. He asked whether I would be ready to offer a formal statement verifying that I had not authorized any of it. I said yes. I emailed it over that afternoon. I also provided a copy of my actual signature for reference, just in case anyone wanted assistance playing Spot the Fraud. He thanked me for my cooperation and promised to contact me if they had any additional queries. That was it. He didn't explain what would happen next. He did not mention Chloe's name again. I did not say the term charges, did not promise justice. He simply thanked me and hung up, which, to be honest, felt more authentic than anything I'd heard in months. Following that, there was nothing. For a while, no calls or queries, just quiet as if the world had gone into buffer mode. I believed either everything or nothing was going on behind the scenes, and both were equally horrifying. Then everything moved at once. Chloe's charges. Wire fraud, identity theft, corporate fraud, import-export violations, and becoming the world's most dependent sister. Okay, I added the last one in my head. Clearly she pled out. 2 years probation, a fine the size of a new car, and no business license until halfway through menopause. My parents were charged with conspiracy aiding and abetting and pretending to be too dumb to recognize a fraud. They pleaded guilty, suspended sentence, community service, and penalties. Their names are on the public record. There's no more hiding behind. We're just her parents now. I didn't attend the hearing. I didn't want to witness Chloe cry in a beige cardigan while my mother gripped her hand as if she were on trial for being a misunderstood genius. But I did read the transcript. My name was mentioned 12 times. No apologies, not once. Then, because life still had laughs to tell, they requested to meet. There is no Chloe this time. It is just the two of them. A peace chat over scorched coffee. They chose a cafe near the courthouse. I arrived 10 minutes late and purchased the most expensive pastry on the menu just to make a point. They were already sitting. My mother seemed to be trying to figure out which face would make me feel the most guilty. I did not sit immediately away. "We didn't realize she used your name," she explained. "You did not ask either. She stated it was only for shipping." "Yes, because this is how fraud works. You simply ship it somewhere new and hope no one raises questions. When rationality fails, my father's go-to move is to clear his throat. We thought it was only temporary. She said you would not mind. She also promised I'd open the package, remember? It turns out she says a lot of stuff. We did not expect it to go this far." "You mean you didn't expect to get caught?" They both became quiet. Then my mother lunged for the throat. "Anna, you've always been strong. You don't have children. You don't have anyone depending on you. We believed you would be able to recover." So there it was, the justification, polished, practiced. It was as if they had already said it 100 times. "You offered me up," I said, "because no one else relied on me. Because you thought my life was easier to lose. That's not what we intended." "No, that is exactly what you intended." I didn't even feel angry anymore, just finished. I stood up. My coffee was still halfway full. I did not take it with me. "I hope you both enjoy your community service," I remarked. "Perhaps you'll finally understand what real work is like." That night I blocked them. I deleted every contact. I cleared every backup. I removed their identities from anything that still had an emergency number listed. Gone. Not out of spite, but out of need. They don't have access to me anymore. Not even the version they created. The following morning, Mark brought me coffee. We sat in the kitchen. Quiet sunlight poured in as if it belonged to us. He inquired if you were okay. I sipped. "I am done." He didn't specify with what. He did not need to. "What are your thoughts? Have I gone too far or not far enough?" Leave a comment. Subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell.